I've been blowing through the money like it growing trees. I've been fucking on a French bitch, c'est la vie. I just put him on a jet.
Oh, man. Absolutely rocking to this dude Drake 21 album. Very good so far. I would highly recommend you guys give it a listen. Week 4 in the books. A lot of good things going on for some teams. A lot of injuries and shitty things going on for other teams. Let's jump in. I had a very tightly contested matchup with Drew until Sunday. Tom got a bit of a cakewalk, I'd say, versus Nick. Chris beat up on Tim. Jackson getting that first dub, laying waste to Alex. Absolutely hospital bedridden team. And Sawyer and John may have had one of the best fantasy matchups I've ever seen. Definitely, you could see that being a championship matchup. So close in so many categories. Sawyer comes out on top. That probably would have been a brutal way to lose for John, but props to both of you guys. That was an awesome matchup. I loved keeping tabs on that one all week. Like I said, me and Drew, I had to sweat this one out versus Drew. My goal going into the week was to beat Drew in threes, and I think by Friday he was up by 20. Now, I did come back within 12 on the week, but it didn't really matter. He had that one locked up. He was also crushing me in both percentages until Saturday or Sunday. But I pulled away almost a 200-point difference. Yours truly set the highest total this week in field goal and points. Ended up winning rebounds and assists, steals. Drew had me in blocks all week and turnovers, and we ended up tying in double-doubles thanks to D'Angelo Russell, who's probably been the shittiest draft pick I've made this year. But it pulled through on the last day with a double-double and assist, got me to tie Drew there, and I also thankfully pulled ahead in some other categories. And our MVP for the week for me is going to be Anthony Davis. Dude shot 566 from the field, 828 from the free throw line, 111 points, 45 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 2 double-doubles. We'll get to, so this being the first month review, I've got a couple other pages to go through. I'll probably just send those in the email. I'll just give you some quick cliff notes. But Drew is leading, I think he's either leading or tied for the most three-pointers made through the first 4 leagues and is last in points. Kind of had that prediction in the post-draft review. If you want to call me a little Nostradamus, no big deal. But it's kind of funny that a team that shoots that many threes and hits that many threes is not piling up the points. But I jumped back into second place. Would have been 7-2 this week. Only would have lost to Tom and Sawyer on a 1-game win streak with a record of 3-1-0. Meanwhile, Drew, tough luck, would have been 4-3-2. Only would have lost to me, Tom, and John, and would have tied Jackson and Sawyer. 1-game losing streak for Drew. He's in fourth place with a record of 2-1-1. On to Nick and Tom. Had it not been for, I'll just put it this way. Yahoo had Kevin Durant, who's on Nick's team, as the highest-rated average player over the past 7 days, and I call bullshit on that because what Joel Embiid did for Tom's team this week is unfucking heard of. Dude averaged 40 points a game over 4 games, 543 from the field, 160 points scored, 44 rebounds, 21 assists, 11 blocks, and 4 double-doubles. I haven't seen anything like that ever before. There's a stat, he's like one of 3 players to ever have a 50-plus point, X amount of rebounds, X amount of blocks game in history, and he's the most recent one since like the 80s or the 70s. Dude put up stupid numbers this week. Awesome to see. Nick and Tom split the percentages. We're very close on 3-pointers, 3 apiece. Tom almost 300 more points than Nick. Nick blew out rebounds and assists. For the second or third consecutive week, had the most steals and blocks in the league. Nick right on track. Only 73 turnovers, fewest in the league this week. And Tom also setting highs in the double-doubles with 13, and he tied for the most triple-doubles with 1. But like I said, Embiid just absolutely on fire. Really impressive. That's the guy that Tom was wanting to draft. We were talking some shit on him over the weekend, and I think he got the business and put the work in. Tom, up into a playoff spot. Would have been 9-0 this week thanks to Joel. 1-game win streak record of 2-2-0. Meanwhile, Nick drops down into ninth place. In a tie for 7th, but sitting in 9th. Would have been 3-6. Only would have beaten Chris, Jackson, and Alec. On to Chris and Tim. Tim, one of the many injury-ridden teams so far this year, and unfortunately tonight Jokic goes down with COVID protocols, I think. Hopefully he's not going to have to sit out too long because we've come so far with COVID, but we'll have to see. MVP for Chris this week is going to be SGA. I think he got him in the 5th or 6th round, which is absolutely insane. Dude's top 10 player right now. He shot 560 from the field, 882 from the stripe, 129 points, 21 assists, 7 steals, and 9 blocks. Tim had the highest free throw percentage this week with 822, and they were only separated by 11 threes, less than 30 points, 2 steals, 9 turnovers, 2 double-doubles, so kind of close, but Chris won this fairly convincingly. Let's see, Chris is now in a playoff spot in 5th place, 3-5-1, only would have beaten Tim, Jackson, and Alec, and would have tied Sawyer. 2-game winning streak for Chris, the record of 2-2-0. Meanwhile, Tim is the last team in the league to not have a win, down there in 10th place, only would have been 2-7, beating Nick and Alec. 1-game losing streak. Tim, something's got to go right here soon. Just needs to get healthy and get back out there. On to Jackson and Alec. Jackson, Ryan O'Connor, getting that first dub. May or may not have something to do with Alec's first 3 picks in Giannis, LeBron, and Beal not playing. But hey, a win's a win. Take that to the bank all day. Jackson set highs in both 3-pointers made with 101 and assists this week with 195. Had a 7-2 double-double advantage. They were only separated by 1 block, 3 turnovers, 10 rebounds. So, I mean, it was close, but Jackson's taking home that dub, baby. MVP for Jackson is going to be Jason Tatum, who, again, another guy who could have easily been in the conversation for number 1 player this week. Dude shot 500 from the field, made 17 3-pointers, 147 points scored, 22 rebounds, and a double-double. Jackson tied for 7th place with Alec and Nick. Would have been 3-5-1, winning versus Alec, Tim, and Sawyer, and tying Drew. 1-game win streak for Jackson. Meanwhile, Alec, 0-9, call the fire department. This one's out of control. Get some Band-Aids up in this bitch, get some ointments, an IV bag, some Gatorade, Pedialyte, take a nap, whatever. Get healthy and get back out there because, 1-3, not the end of the world. You can come back from that, but you lose 1 or 2 more games straight, and it's going to be awfully hard to dig yourself out of that basement there, sir. So get the team doctors on it, maybe some new team doctors, and hopefully we see you back out there soon. Team Crips, not looking good right now. And finally, on to Sawyer and John. Like I said, this is the matchup of the year so far. Could be the matchup of the total year with how close these guys were. Separated by 9 thousandths of a point in field goal percentage, separated by 10 threes, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 double-double. Olsen did have a triple-double in his favor thanks to Luka, but it just wasn't quite enough. It was really hard for me to pick an MVP for Sawyer because his team just rebounds so well, and he needed every single one of them. I think he had at least 2 players, if not 3, with more than 30 rebounds on the week. Bam, Julius Randle, and maybe Vooch, but I'm going to give the MVP to Julius Randle. Dude hit 15 threes, 101 points, 37 rebounds, which is the most on Sawyer's team this week, and 2 double-doubles. Brilliant all-around performance for Sawyer. Dude jumps up into first place, would have been 5-2-2 this week. Only would have lost to Tom and Jackson, but would have tied Drew and Chris. 4-game win streak, only undefeated team left in the league. Good on you, Sawdog. Meanwhile, Olsen drops down to 3rd in a tie for 2nd with me, but he's in 3rd. Would have been 6-3, so that's a tough week for John, but only would have lost to Sawyer, myself, and Tom. 1-game losing streak for John. Like I said, player of the week's got to be Joel Embiid. Dude averaged 40 points, 11.0 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 2.8 blocks, and a double-double on the week. And we've got some okay matchups coming up. We've got Alec versus Tim, both desperately needing a win and both desperately injured. Let's see who can limp their way to the finish line in that week. John versus Drew. John's team might be a little heated coming off that close loss, and Drew's looking for a little bit of revenge with me beating him last week. Tom versus Jackson could be decent. Me versus Chris. I think I'm going to win that one. And then you've got Nick and Sawyer. I'm not going to go through the player props or the team categories and the player ones. You guys can read those if you want. But good luck this coming week. We'll see you soon.